I got all the stickers cut out that I've got now. I'm going to have to dig out some more material for that. But I can do that in here in the hangar with the doors closed when it's raining and stuff. And the weather has changed. We've gone into a fall weather pattern and it's just been a deluge for weeks on end here. We've got upwards of 3 inches of rain a day for a few days. There have been mudslides around the country and stuff. Well, we got good weather today and tomorrow. Today is September 6th. Oh no, today is September 7th. So we got good weather today and tomorrow. It's not raining today right now, and it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. So I've got a bunch of 2x6s that I cut out with a chainsaw mill last year out of a couple big spruce logs that I had. And they've been stacked and stickered for a little over a year now, right around a year now. I'm going to bring those down here and run them through the planer and plane them down. And I got my jointer over here. I got it out of the paint booth. So I got to move it out of the way right now because all those boards are going to stick way back past where the planer's sitting back here in the hangar. But anyway, I'm going to plane and joint those boards and get them ready to use on extension on the house and some other projects that I've got lined up for them. I've got SIP panels, structurally insulated panels, to go on the addition to the house, and they require 2x6 material for framing in those or for putting in the edges of those. And then I put a wider material down on the floor for that to sit on, and on the top for kind of a rim joist around it. So I want to make those up, and then I've got to frame in one end of the wall because I've got 3 SIP panels. I'll put one 12-foot panel on one end, 2 12-foot panels on the other side, and then the third side I'll have to frame in, and then I have to make trusses to go over for the finish in the roof and stuff. So anyway, I've got a whole bunch of 2x6s that I cut with that chainsaw mill that are dried out. I've got this thing put away with anti-corrosion grease and stuff on the table. I'll get it cleaned up and get that lumber down here and start machining up some lumber. Well, I used the Bobcat and drug those piles of lumber from those 2 spruce logs that we milled up last year. Got them down here to the hangar. And the bottom pile is the second log we did, and the top pile is the first log we did. And we didn't get near as much lumber out of the first log as we did the second one because we had a little snafu on the guide for the chainsaw mill when we were making the cut on it. The bolts for the guide came loose and wound up diving, so we wound up losing a lot of wood on it. But we got some good lumber out of it. And there's some of it that's not so good. You can see that bottom piece had a big check in it, and it's going to split out where it was at. And most of those are going to be nominal size 2x6s, but there's some of them that are wider that are going to go down on the bases of the SIP panels and on the top of the SIP panels for a header. And I think that's the first ones I cut there out of that first log. I think those are cut wider and maybe a little thicker. I have to measure and see. I found the dust collector hood for that planer, and it takes a 5-inch output on that, and all of the hoses that I have for my dust collector are 4 inches, so I had to go to town and get a 5 to 4 inch reducer. And then of course the ones they had in town were the wrong ones. They were crimped on the 5-inch side and they wouldn't go inside the hood, so I had to modify that. And then I couldn't get the hose over the other end, which wasn't crimped, so I had to get my crimper and crimp it and then get my hoses rigged up. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I just ran a little piece of yellow cedar through there and it got great big shavings, and they wound up plugging up the dust collector hood on that, so I might not be able to use that dust collector. Try it on a piece of spruce here in a minute, but this is what I got set up here. I got the hose coming out of the dust collector hood on the planer, and then we got it running over here, and they've got these collector adapters here that can go on a garbage can that suck the shavings and stuff in it, and then the big stuff falls into that garbage can, and then the smaller stuff goes on into the dust collector. So I've got the dust collector behind there. Like I said, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Those shavings are so big, they're just plugging up the hood for the planer. We'll give it a try, see how it works with a piece of spruce on there. Doesn't look like that dust collector is going to work on there. It's plugged up already. It pulled a little bit of shavings out into that bucket, but it pretty much plugged that outlet up on there. So I'm going to go ahead and redo that and hook it up directly to the dust collector instead of that other lash up that's on there with that adapter there. See if I can get some more suction out of it like that, get enough suction out of it to pull the shavings out of there. But it just may be that I need a bigger, heavier duty dust collector for that planer. I don't know. It's just not sucking the chips out of there at all. Anyway, I got a little bit of work to do there. I'll see if I can work something out to get that thing working. If not, I'll have to take that hood off of there and then just put a tarp down and collect the shavings like that. That's what we did before. Well, this has proven to be way more complicated than I thought it should be. I hooked that dust collector up directly to the planer here. It worked a little bit better. It had a little bit more suction on it, but it's still plugged up. I run a trial piece through there and it's still plugged up right away. Well, you can see here in this outlet, there's a bar that goes straight across there. Now these shavings, it was a 6-inch wide board that I run through there, and you can see these shavings are 6 inches, like spaghetti noodles, and they just wrap themselves right around that bar and just plug it right up. I don't know why that bar is in there, except to maybe provoke people into buying a heavier dust collector, maybe, I don't know. I suppose it keeps that outlet from collapsing, but we're using a soft pipe on there anyway, so that would collapse. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take that bar out of there. I got a little sawzall here, and I'll just go ahead and cut that bar out of there and we'll see how it goes then. See, I may have to take the grinder and grind the tabs off in there where that was cut off, the welds, the beads, or whatever in there. But hood here just hangs here, so there's a lot of gaps around it. We'll do with the duct tape. I think I'm going to take some duct tape and tape over this a little bit, tape around it a little bit, and see if we can't close it up a little bit more. I chipped the paint a little bit on it, but it works now, at least so far. That worked a lot better. So now I got to get some 4x4s or something and lay down out here, so I got a place to lay down my boards when I get done running through there. looks like it solved the problem with the chip collection, at least until the bag fills up. I went ahead and put my Vortex collector back on there in the garbage can, pre-collector, whatever it's called, and it seems to be working just fine now that that bar is out of there. And that thing will pack in full of shavings, and then it'll start spitting stuff back out the machine again, about the planer again, and that's when we'll know everything is plugged up and we can stop and clean it out. That's a big problem with using the dust collector, is it all plugs up. Now ideally what I'd do is I'd put that dust collector so it was outside in a big bin outside. Then all the dust, all the chips and stuff could collect out there, and you could have a huge collection pile and then just open it up once a day and shovel it out, or whenever. Judy uses those chips in her chicken pen and stuff like that for bedding in her chickens, so it all goes to good use. But anyway, I think that sets that up. That's working good now.